guys, blacksmith.bets here. I'm going to come and bring you a full UFC breakdown for UFC 302. Also, my shirt is ironed now. Don't judge me on the previous video. I'm a small business owner. I ain't got time to do ironing most of the time. I will also be getting a new microphone, so the sound quality will be improving. I know it's a bit annoying, but bear with me on this. I'm very new to making videos, barely know how to edit, very rudimentary, but things will get better. So anyway, I'm going to go through the card and I'm going to be giving you my opinions on line value, as well as, I'm going to grab my glasses because otherwise I'm blind. I'm going to give you my opinion on line value as well as the matchups themselves, and you can decide what decisions you want to make. I've got free plays and predictions in the shorts, in my social media and in my free group, so go to the Telegram, you'll see free plays if you scroll up there. Live, I also give you a play-by-play in the group and I tell you what I'm thinking for the fight, so you can basically work out what to bet. But live, you obviously can't always lock the plays in, and the value usually is trash as well. So the best thing to do is join my free group, message me, and then sign up for VIP. It's only £50 a month, which is an absolute steal. We're absolutely killing it at the moment. Just 2 weeks ago, I absolutely swept the UFC card. I had 9 bets, all 9 of them hit, and I cashed a plus 1,675 parlay in American odds. The next week, I had a 40-1 parlay that should have hit, didn't hit, but I ended up doing a revenge parlay. It hit at nearly 9-1 odds as well. We also had some wins from that card. So big card. I hit as well an 18-1 bet, 19.0 decimal odd bet on Angela Hill to win in round 2, which I told you was going to happen as well in a video. So just saying, I'm doing well at the moment. Interesting weekend this weekend. It's the first big UFC card we've had in a while. So this means there's a lot of people watching the UFC that don't normally watch it. So hopefully this will give you some context. So if you're not a normal UFC fan, maybe this will give you some knowledge that will help you win money. If you understand UFC, hopefully it will help you understand the value so you can put the right bets in. We start the card with a fight that I'm going to pass on because I've actually not had time to tape study this. A lot of cappers will give you fake, basically, I was going to swear then, fake BS saying a very generic breakdown of a fight when they've not done the tape study, just based on what they know off the top of their head. One thing I've learned since becoming a capper and having the UFC pay 80% of my winnings is that what you think should happen often is different when you actually watch the tape. So I'm not going to make a prediction. I mean, I am going to make a prediction. I think Lima's going to win, but I've not done tape study, so I can't say that conclusively, so don't hold me to it. I want to go straight into Ailin Perez against Jocelyn Edwards. This is a great example of what I was talking about because I originally was going to bet on Ailin Perez. I was actually going to put her in a double. I thought she was a lock. I thought she will take Edwards down and grind a decision out. I think that's still probably going to happen. I think she's not bad on the feet, but I think Edwards is actually going to maybe piece her up on the feet. A lot of people are saying Edwards doesn't have power. She's not got the credentials to beat Perez. I think Edwards actually has some power in her hands and that she's just not been landing the strikes. She's got a reach advantage and a size advantage against Perez, so this could be a nasty night. I can see this being a robbery decision, or what some people think is a robbery, or I can see Edwards winning by damage despite being controlled, because Perez, 1, she gasses in the final round, and 2, she also has an issue with landing damage. She doesn't land damage when she gets the takedown. She does advance position, but she doesn't score points of damage or locking submissions in. So I feel like she may lose just because of the scoring system. Hard to know with judges. Judges sometimes don't score damage, then they do. They're very inconsistent. They don't follow the rules of MMA that they're supposed to. So hard to know. But I have this fight being 50-50. Which makes Edwards good value for money. I think Perez actually, probably more 60-40. I think Perez is probably going to win, but the odds, I do not think are good value for Perez. So I would not bet on Perez. It's different from what I originally thought. I think this is going to be a very close fight. So if there is value, the value is on Edwards. Moving on. Rafiez versus Michal. I mean, we know what's going to happen. Michal is not UFC level. He's done very well from his career because he had the fight with CM Punk, and he basically had to be a guy who wasn't a great mixed martial artist to fight CM Punk, and he still smoked him because of his jiu-jitsu. He's been in the UFC ever since. He has actually had some okay wins, but he is just not UFC level. Vasil Hafez is UFC level. He is a very interesting fighter, very exciting, and this is basically a setup for him to win. Mickey Gall, can he get the upset? I don't think so. I would be backing Hafez all day to win by knockout. I don't think Mickey Gall can take him down, and even if he does get a takedown, I think Hafez would just stand straight back up and will not be in any trouble. So I don't see anywhere for Mickey to win. Maybe he gets a tricky back take or something if he gets very lucky in a scramble, but that's about it. He should get finished, I think. Moving up, Philip Rowe versus Jake Matthews. Another fight that I originally was on the Matthews side. I thought Matthews is going to grind the fight out. He's going to be the better technician and just be the better fighter everywhere. But the more I look back at his fights and I looked at their records, Jake Matthews hasn't really fought that high level of competition. Not saying Rowe's fought the best fighters in the world, but Rowe has been fighting better competition. I still think this is a bit of a 50-50 fight, a bit like Perez-Edwards, but I actually think Rowe has a better chance of winning. I would say the value is on Rowe. I think it's going to be an awkward fight, and I think Rowe is going to win through athleticism and physicality. I think he also may have an advantage when it comes to the striking, and I think actually against the cage as well. A lot of people are saying that Matthews is going to have the advantage when it comes to grappling everywhere. I disagree. I think Rowe actually might do quite well against the cage. We'll see. And I think he may land some good punches from the outside, and I think he may even be able to hurt Matthews and will win. Maybe a decision, maybe a late stoppage. Grant Dawson, Joe Solecki. No surprise here. I think Dawson's going to get it done. Solecki, you know, a bit like, I wouldn't say he's like Gall. He has talent, but he just doesn't rise to the occasion. Dawson is definitely the better fighter out of the two. He should be in control wherever the fight goes. I can actually see him getting some control time in this, mixing in grappling, landing some hard shots, and just beating Solecki up. Not a fight that I'm particularly interested in just because there's not much value. So I think Dawson wins. Could use him as a parlay piece? I think so. Here we go, we're getting into the good fights now. Almeida versus Romanov. That was a bit of a joke because this could be a ball fest. But it's an interesting fight because you've got Romanov, who is absolutely massive. Wrestler, he's just going to try and mat return you and sit on you until a decision. Obviously, he's got some heavy hands. He can, any heavyweight has got heavy hands and can ground and pound you. But he doesn't have the explosivity, in my opinion, to land his hands standing up. And also on the ground, he's got the problem with Almeida, which is Almeida can grapple. A lot of people are writing him off because of what just happened in the last fight. But come on, guys, you know, he was fighting Blades. Blades is amazing, very good fighter, and he made a stupid mistake that he paid for. Could he make a stupid mistake that he'll pay for here? Perhaps, but I would say he's at such high level, Almeida, that he will not make that mistake again. He'll come in extremely well prepared, will mind his P's and Q's. I think he's the better grappler of the two. He's definitely the better striker. He wins this fight everywhere. I don't really like the value on it though, because at heavyweight, weird things happen. We just saw his last fight, you know, there was a very strange ending. I just don't think there's much value compared to the rest of the card. I think there's much better odds, or similar odds, on fights that are more secure. So, part of me kind of wants to put him in a double, and I probably will put a cheeky bet on him. Actually, Almeida plus over 1.5 rounds could have value. When I checked the odds, it was quite high. Romanov strikes me as someone who may be able to last and get beaten up without going down because he's pretty huge. But then again, Almeida is very lethal and explosive, so maybe he just steams in like he often does and gets a round one finish. It's hard to know, but I would say it's 50-50 whether it goes over 1.5 rounds, which makes it potentially good value. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet this one or not, to be honest, but I think that's what happens. Then you've got César Almeida and Kopylov. I am all over Almeida in this. I think Almeida's got this fight on lock. I just cannot help. I don't know what it is. When I watched the tape study and stuff, and I saw a lot of things I didn't like for Kopylov, I just feel like he might get lucky in this one. I don't know why. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't think I'm going to back him at all. I'm expecting him to lose and to be outstruck. I just feel like he has flashes sometimes where he can look quite good and he can get quite lucky with his hands. So I think maybe he can do well in the first round. If not, I think he's going to be in trouble and then start getting pieced up. I think Almeida's going to win. I think he's going to late stoppage or points. But Kopylov, I think, may be dangerous in that first round. It's an interesting fight to see. It's a tough one to cap as well. I think Almeida has the technical ability to pick him apart and finish the fight. It just depends if he gets drawn into something that's a bit more scrappy and a bit more messy. Going up the card, Randy Brown. Rude boy Randy Brown. I've made a lot of money betting this guy. I love him. He's a very exciting fighter to watch. Love his style. His physicality is immense. Very long guy, tall guy, great size for the division. Fighting Elizeu, Zaleski. Look, he's coming back. Elizeu, sorry, I'm really bad at pronouncing these names, but he's coming back after a hiatus. It's not a good fight to have against Randy Brown. He is a nice technical striker, so this could present some problems for Randy, and I think it is a strategic matchmake by the UFC to see how Randy fares against someone like that. But I think athleticism, speed and power of Randy Brown, I think he always finds a way to get a finish. And recently he's looked sharp. The thing I like about Randy Brown is you can see the improvements between each fight. There are a lot of fighters out there who've got a lot of gifts, but you don't see a significant improvement. And that always annoys me, because I think if you're a professional, you should always be learning and getting better. And look, this is something that happens in every field. If you're good at something, you just want to keep doing the thing you're good at. You don't want to do the thing that you're not very good at. So you end up focusing on your talents instead of your weaknesses. And I feel that's something that Randy Brown's done. He's looked at where he may be weaker and he's made them his strengths. So he's performing very well. This has the potential to be a bit of an upset, but there is a way to play this fight, and I've actually got a VIP bet locked in that I think is very good value compared to the money line. Money line at 1.60 odds. I think there is a little bit of value there, to be honest, but not a whole lot. There's a much better way to play this fight. Go and sign up to VIP. My VIP, you can find out exactly how that is. But I can see Randy Brown doing what he does normally, getting a finish, or it could be one of those fights that goes to decision, but you think there's going to be a finish and it never comes, because they are two talented fighters. And then it may be the stamp of approval for Randy Brown that he can get through a matchup against a tough technical striker, but it also may leave a question mark that maybe he's not as incredible as everyone thinks. We'll see. Next up the card, Kevin Holland against Michal Oleksiejczuk. I cannot pronounce that. Elizeu. I can't. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Apologies, Michal. I think Michal's actually a good fighter. I think he actually has a lot of good qualities, and people are not giving him credit where he should have some. But there's a reason why. Kevin Holland has a lot of raw talent, and he's actually, this is something people don't give him credit for, he's actually learned and developed to improve. I've been extremely critical of Kevin Holland in the past for his lack of focus in fights, where he's sort of talking to his corner and he's going off on tangents. It really frustrated me because it's a mindset thing, and I feel like if you've not got the mindset, you can have all the other gifts in the world, but you are not putting it together. He looked really good against MVP. People were saying, oh, he kind of, MVP exposed him a little bit. MVP looked amazing. MVP looked huge, and MVP is a striking specialist who kept it standing. So Holland's wrestling couldn't get it down to the ground, but I think that's more because of MVP is better than what I thought. I actually expected MVP to have trouble against Holland, and I rate Holland highly for his performance, even though he got outworked and obviously lost that fight. I think he will submit Michal. I've just got a feeling, I can see something weird like a gator roll, or an arm triangle, or some choke, some front choke, sort of headlock. I don't know. Not a guillotine, but I can see something like that, like a Dawes, arm triangle, gator roll, one of those things in a grappling exchange. And I think that may come from Holland landing power as well, so he could win by knockout. Holland is great at this weight class. It's at middleweight. He's much better there. He is a very powerful striker, got a lot of physical gifts, and I feel like the mental aspect is improving with him, his focus. That's going to spell danger for Michal. Michal can win if he gets into... I think you just got to go after Holland, to be honest, and just try and land on him. I see so many paths to victory for Holland though, and I don't see as many for Michal. A lot of people are saying Michal may get the upset, but I actually think this is going to be a tough night for him. I think Holland wins by finish. Next up, Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa. Those of you who've been following me for a while know that I love Costa. I actually bet him to win by decision against Robert Whittaker at crazy odds. I think it was like 8-1, and that was not a bad bet. He lost, but it was a decision and it was extremely close. That bet was looking great value. Costa is a fantastic fighter, and people don't give him the credit. He's not quite championship caliber, in my opinion. I think he's missing that 5%, that couple of percent that makes a champion. He's got all the other gifts, short arms but powerful hooks. He knows how to use his frame. Even though he's got short arms, people mention it all the time. It doesn't matter to him. He knows how to use it. Good grappling, good wrestling defense, great cardio, even though he gasses later in rounds. Strickland is going to be a tough matchup for him. And I think, I put a short out earlier saying I think this match could turn into a tactical chess match. Sean's got long limbs. I think he will look the bigger fighter, and he has better cardio. So I think at the start of the fight, it's a 5-round fight as well, by the way. So I think at the start, Costa is going to have an advantage. I think he'll be looking to land big hooks, maybe even counter Strickland, try and force in the counter. They both like to use pressure, so they're both going to come forward and try and pressure the other and try and land based on what the other's doing. I think that may spell a bit of inactivity and hesitation, but once they get going, rhythm will happen, they'll start landing. They both love to fight, their egos will be raised and they'll go after it. I think Strickland would take over later in the fight, but it's going to be very, very close. I gave out a free play in my Telegram earlier in the week, and I'll give it here. I like the over. Over 3.5 rounds. When I gave that out, the odds were just under plus 100, so just under evens. I like that. Both of these fighters go to a decision frequently. They're both durable as well. I know Costa's talking about Sean's chin, but look who Sean was KO'd by. You know, the guy who can KO anyone on the planet. Alex Pereira. So you can't knock him for that. He's going to come in prepared. I think both are going to be they're going to hesitate a bit. I think they're both going to be coming into each other's range, stepping out, in, out, in, out. And I think that might extend the fight out a bit. They'll start landing and exchanging and then back off, with Strickland turning it on later in the rounds. But I think Costa can survive. And I think Strickland can survive the early onslaught of the heavy punches. So I like the over. I think the fight's got a good chance to go by decision. The odds for that are very good as well. But if a finish comes, I think it will come later in the fight. But I think it will go the distance. I think the over 3.5 will cash. And if I had to pick, I would say Strickland's going to win a decision. And I think he will win... I think he may win like 4 rounds to 1, but the 4 that he wins will be quite close. I think this will be a very close fight. Then we've got Poirier, Islam, Makhachev. Been saying it for a while, look, Islam's going to win. And Dustin has a chance, and a lot of people are starting to push this narrative that Dustin can win by guillotine, that he can win by knockout. Dustin can win. This is MMA. He has been in there with the best. He can win the fight. How likely is he to win? I don't think very likely. The odds are insane at the moment, but rightfully so. I would say Volk is one of the best ever mixed martial artists in the UFC's history. He went 5 rounds with Volk, Islam did, and then knocked him out. The guy is a beast. Everyone loves Poirier. He had a very good performance against Benoit Saint-Denis, but if you watch before he won that fight, it looked very bad for him. And I think if Benoit Saint-Denis makes him look that vulnerable, Islam's going to annihilate him. I think it might be more competitive than what people think, but I think Islam finishes him inside 3 rounds, maybe round 2. If not round 2, I think he really pours it on in the 3rd round and wins by ground and pound or gets a submission. Poirier has a chance if he keeps it standing, but I think Islam's just too good. I think Islam's going to take him down, and it's going to be dominant. Islam to win by finish is like 1.40 decimal odds. I don't really think there's much value. Maybe the fight to not go to the distance, or the under 3.5 is a parlay piece, but there is a chance it could extend a bit longer. If Islam's being careful, and he's being very careful to stay out of Poirier's range, there could be a situation where they end up grappling, but then again, Poirier gasses when he grapples. So I think that will accelerate the shortness of the fight. So actually I'm going to say it's going to go under 3.5 rounds, and I think Islam's going to win. those are my predictions. I wanted to go through quick because when I've done videos like this before, they've turned into very long videos. I just want to give you a quick fire snapshot. If you want more detailed analysis, join my Telegram. I'll also be posting free plays in the Telegram. The link is in the description. You can sign up for my VIP service to get my full UFC card. As I mentioned, the other week I swept it. I got 9 out of 9 bets right and a massive parlay. You want to sign up for my VIP. It's the best value for money. It's £50 a month, which is an absolute steal. I should be increasing the prices, and I will be soon. But what I'm saying is anyone who signs up with me now will get that price for life. They will never have to pay more. So join the squad, sign up, join the free group, and you can get the live plays. I also post the monster parlay. I've hit so many monster parlays in my free group. I do them every Saturday, a few hours before the UFC starts. The last one I hit was 1,675 odds, so about just under 17 to 1. Before that, I hit one at 10 to 1. Before that one at 20 to 1, so plus 2,000 odds. Before that, 10 to 1. There's been loads. I've been doing VIP. I've really been tracking my data a lot more strictly since I've done VIP for 14 weeks. I've hit over 5 monster parlays in that time at massive odds. So you want to follow that monster parlay at the very least. Join the group and let's get it. Let's have another massive week where we make a ton of money in the UFC. Last week we did 8 units, which is not a great week. I target 10 units as a minimum every week for the UFC. But the week before that, I did 43 units profit, 27.5 units from the UFC, getting every play correct. I know what I'm doing. I do this all the time. My other biggest wins are 32 units, 19 units, and 19 units. That's all in the last 3 months. So I'm smashing the UFC. Go and sign up to the group, and we're going to have a massive big week where we cash a ton of money. Let's get it.